Way from 8, let's get the voice of the creative economy from Idealog magazine, idealog.co.nz. Of course, it is Vincent Heeringa joining us this morning. Morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Wammo. How are you?
Very well, thanks. First topic of conversation this morning is New Zealand doing deals with China. Are these good, bad, or heck, whatever?
Well, it's all part of the ongoing cozying up to the, the communist giant, and it's often talked about how China is providing a buffer for us in terms of maintaining our exports, while Europe and the United States seem to, be in a spiral of decline.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when you look at the export statistics that the growth in China is phenomenal, and India as well. But it's actually Australia where we have been getting the biggest growth. Which in turn kind of, I suppose, reflects China once again, because they have had so much success exporting all their coal.
Yes. So ultimately it does hinge on China, doesn't it?
China is providing, the rise of Asia couldn't have happened at a better time in terms of the global economy, because it is providing, it really is stopping the world from going into a death spin.
But there are perhaps clouds on the horizon for China?
I think that there always have been, and there probably always will be, because we like to think in the West that democracy is one of the fundamental attributes of capitalism. And so I suppose we all have the suspicion that without a free press and without free assembly and free speech and all the other parts of the democratic system that we have learned to love and want to defend, capitalism itself can't keep going, because ultimately it will create this incredible divide between the rich and the poor, and the powerful and the powerless. So I don't know. These are big questions, Wammo, for a Thursday morning.
They are.
In the meantime, we have just done some deals. Yesterday, Bill English signed some deals with the Chinese Development Bank, CBD it's called, and that is to provide, it's a very high-level agreement, but the basis of it is really to provide funding for infrastructure around Christchurch and rebuilding. And they're particularly targeting the tourist sector, where tourism is such a big part of our economy, particularly from China and from Asia in general, that there's an incentive to rebuild that tourist infrastructure pretty quickly.
And also some commercial deals have been done, a clean energy joint venture between China's steel producers and New Zealand company LanzaTech.
Now, this is one of the most exciting deals in that list of, there were 5 deals signed yesterday with Chinese government and organisations. And I don't know if you know the company LanzaTech. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them, yeah.
So it started by a New Zealand scientist called Sean Simpson. When you look at smokestacks, in the past we looked at factory smokestacks and see plumes of smoke coming out, and we used to say, that represents progress, Wammo, we've got factories churning out stuff. Well, now we look at them and we think that represents environmental destruction. So what we are trying to do with, what LanzaTech is trying to do, and they've sourced a lot of US funding for this, is to turn the CO2 and the gases that get pumped out by factories and power stations, capture all those gases and turn them into ethanol. So actually sort of capturing the destructive waste that would otherwise go into the air and turn it back into a very clean burning fuel.
Yeah, very, very cool idea. I like the sound of that.
And you think about, how much pollution there is in China, and is the factory of the world. What an exciting potential possibility for a Kiwi company to provide the solution for capturing all that, at least the vapour pollution, and turning it into something useful.
Indeed. Hey, talking about useful things, let's move on from that to an announcement by Amazon this morning in North America, something called the Kindle Fire.
Kindle Fire. Well, Amazon have joined the race for the tablet. I don't know how many tablets are in the market now. 10?
Heaps. Oh, probably more. I mean, on the Android side of things, they bring them out every week.
Right. Okay. So, Apple is still by far and away the dominant player in that space, but there are quite a few competitors, including the Kindle Fire. Kindle has been an ebook reader produced by Amazon, and really they made ebooks popular because they were the first to combine the technology with the easy purchase of millions of books.
Yeah.
But the ebook reader, the Kindle, is a black and white electronic ink device, which makes it great for reading, but it's not a colour device, nor is it an internet device.
Not so good for magazines.
Hopeless for magazines, but great for reading, for novels and for large swathes of text. You don't want a backlit screen. But except that now I see that they have they released the Kindle Fire. You haven't had a play with it yet, I presume?
No, I don't think anyone in New Zealand has had a play with it yet.
Greasy mitts on one yet?
No, but I'm looking at currently a wee video of the presentation this morning, and they are showing magazines on this little colourful device. Yeah.
Well, I think what's made so much success for Apple is the iTunes store. Is the store, the Apple iStore, and exactly the same thing will happen with Amazon because they've got such a huge e-commerce engine sitting behind it with millions and millions of books and CDs and movies that this device will just has got such a head start on others because of the depth of content that you can access through the Amazon store.
Talking about the movie side of things, there's a rumour that Amazon may take over Netflix in the US.
Oh yeah, well that would make sense, wouldn't it? It absolutely makes sense. It's kind of interesting, isn't it, that you can't just get the technology right; you have to have the commerce right, the economics of it, and the early pioneers in cable in the States, and I'm thinking of things like the Turner Corporation and CNN, they succeeded because they sat on an archive of content. So they bought Columbia Pictures and were able to rebroadcast classic movies on their cable channels, and it was that content that by itself the content was no good to Columbia, but it was the combination of the content and the delivery that actually made the Turner Corporation what it is, or what it was.
Hey, finally, Vincent, let's look at the Innovators Awards again. The People's Choice Award is available for people to vote for right now.
It is. We've got a page set up, and you can vote for your favourites, and Lanzatech are in there. In fact, they're getting an incredible number of votes, and it's turning out to be quite popular. We have hundreds of people so far, only on sort of day 5, I think. So we're hoping to get lots of people voting for their favourite innovators. And Wammo, it's there's nothing in it for people but to support their favourite Kiwi pioneers and innovators. And we'd really encourage people to get on. So I think have you got a link there on your web page?
I certainly do. If you go to kiwifm.co.nz and click on the Radio Wammo show page link right now, you can find the links to everything we've just been talking about as well.
Thanks, Wammo. We need innovation. If we're going to keep up with, let's take the money from the Chinese, but let's keep the technology and the ownership here.
Indeed. Nice one. Thanks very much. Good to talk, Vincent. Cheers.
Thanks, Wammo.
Vincent Heeringa from idealogue.co.nz. Time now here on Kiwis, 7:48.